The trimmer located in the center top of the interface, just to the left of the main video preview window, is a window for previewing the video and audio files in your project media panel. But it's also a dynamic workspace. In it, you can pre-trim your video or audio files, and with it, you can create shorter subclips from a larger video file, and I'll show you how that's done. Before we do, though, I want to show you something about this panel. By default, in Vegas, when you double-click on a clip that's in your project media panel, it's added to your timeline, like that. I don't like that, and it's very non-standard. It's up to you. It's a personal preference entirely, but I would recommend you change the preferences, and I'll show you how to do that to make it much more the way most standard video editing programs work. Go to the Options menu, select Preferences, and here on the General page, if you scroll way down to almost the bottom, it's the third from the bottom, double-click on Media File Loads into Trimmer instead of Tracks. Let's go ahead and check that. And click OK. Now when I double-click on any file that's in my project media panel, it opens up in my trimmer. That's much more standard behavior for a video editor. And again, it's a personal preference, but that's how you do it if you feel the same way. Okay, so we've got here a pretty long clip. And as you can see from the little timeline at the bottom of the trimmer, this clip runs almost 2 minutes. You're never going to use a 2-minute long clip in your video. And in fact, we have an issue here where we actually have a lot of things going on. We have, for instance, a long shot of the man working at his desk. We have a close-up of the man working at his desk. And later on here, we have the man walking down between the cubicles and the wall to leave. I think I actually see at least 3 smaller clips to come out of this larger clip. And that's where the trimmer comes in handy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the beginning of where I see this man sitting at his desk as a long shot. And I can move the playhead either manually by dragging on it, I can play it and pause at a certain spot, or I can just click here on the timeline till I find the exact spot. There it is. That's the spot where I want to start. And now I want to put an end point. And to do that, I can select that option from the More Buttons menu here, Set End Point. But you see, I also have a couple of shortcuts. I could also just press the letter I on my keyboard, or the open bracket, which is pretty standard. But that creates the beginning of my end point. Let's go to the end here of the long shot, and I could select them from the option Set Out Point, or I could just press O or the close bracket key. Now I have a trim area of my video, and you can see that it's this little blue area in here. This is the highlighted area, and those little yellow flags at the top indicate the beginning and end of my trimmed area. I can drag this to my timeline right from here, and I get only the trimmed portion of my movie. I only get that small section that is the long shot of the man sitting in the desk. So that's how you can prepare a file before you use it on your timeline. You can pre-trim it. But how about if I'm not ready to start building my movie yet? How about if I just want to gather all of my small clips from my larger clips, gather them up in my project media panel so I can grab them when I need them and start assembling my movie? I can save the shorter clip as a sub-clip. So this highlighted area, this little blue spot, this spot between the 2 yellow flags in my trimmer, I want to send it back to my project media panel as a subclip. To do that, I just click on this little button here in the lower right of my trimmer, create subclip, and when I do, I can rename it. I'll call this long shot. And you can see it now appears in my project media panel as a much shorter clip. Let's do another subclip. We'll take the close-up of the man, and I'll just press I for my endpoint. Take the end of that clip, we'll press O for my out point. There's our trimmed area, and we'll again select the option to create subclip. We'll call this close-up. That too goes back to my project media panel. And then finally, we'll go to the end here where the man is walking down the aisle, and we'll press I or the open bracket here for the endpoint. And then at the end of his walk, we'll press our close bracket or the O for our out point. And now we have a trimmed area, and I will send that back as a subclip, and we'll call it walking out. And now I have 3 subclips. And if I were to open any of those subclips in the trimmer, say this long shot clip by double-clicking on it, you can see that I only have that portion of the clip. It's very nice. Now, instead of having to deal with a long 2-minute clip, I only have a very short 20-second clip, exactly what I need. So you can pre-trim then your clips, and you can actually create a bunch of subclips from your longer clip there. So our trimmer serves 2 functions. It's a place where we can preview our media before we add it to our movie, And it's a place where we can create smaller clips from larger clips so that regardless of the length of our source media file, we can always find the exact pre-trimmed media clip whenever we need it.